I welcome you to the Neurography 365 online conference. I'll be honest, I'm a bit nervous because it's my first time participating in such an event. I would like to understand, dear colleagues, who among you is present here today and at what specific level of knowledge and expertise you have come to this gathering. Let's write in the chat. If you're a complete beginner, put a 0. If you're a user, put a 1. If you're a specialist, put a 2. And if you're an instructor, put a 3, so I can understand how to present the information for you and how you'll be drawing with me. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to see you all. Well, I'll slowly start. Today, we will work on realizing our desires. We all have the resources to fulfill any desire, but sometimes all these resources are hidden beneath layers of our limitations. And today, with the help of neurography, we will start to build. We all have the resources to realize any of our desires, but sometimes all of these resources are hidden under a layer of our limitations. And today, with the help of neurography, we will be building. Wow, that's great. We have both users and specialists here. Awesome. Awesome. There are already a lot of you. Thank you. Today, I'm going to share about myself and my achievements with neurography. I'm a neurography instructor. Using the meta-modern framework, we will work on our goals. Now, let me tell you about my results. So, I'm a neurography instructor from 2023, an aesthetic coach, a professional from the Pure School, and a NeuroCut instructor. I became an instructor almost by chance, thanks to the user course. I took the user course and realized that I wanted to pass on this knowledge. Today, we will be working with the meta-modern framework. What is that? It's a cyclical development, a completed action from thought to realization. And today, using the meta-modern framework, we will work on our goals. It's great to see so many of you here. Now, let me share a bit about my results. I'll tell you about my case of weight loss. I've had weight issues for the last 8 years and I couldn't do anything about it. I tried diets and exercise, but I won't go into too much detail. However, thanks to drawing neurography, I thought, I'll give neurography a try. My first drawing was on June 22nd, 2023. 23 years old. I did this using the neurocomposition algorithm, which we will be working with today. I created rhythmic and metric sequences. I made this row rhythmic. I drew my weight loss. I was at 85 and I wanted to be at 80 in a month. I drew circles to reach that weight harmoniously. Sometimes it can be through some illnesses, so it should be harmonious and safe. In the metric sequence, I included my habit of regularly drinking water and consistently exercising. These are stable and consistent actions that led me to the result. During the drawing process, I realized that my excess weight was actually accumulated feelings and emotions that I had kept under wraps. It wasn't just negative emotions. Even joy was off limits for me because my parents didn't allow me to be happy. So when I became aware of this limitation, I drew out the algorithm for removing restrictions, meaning I lifted that limitation off myself and started to calmly experience my negative feelings and emotions. Actually, I learned to talk about them. If I was angry, I expressed my anger. If I felt hate or envy, I talked about that too. This way, those feelings and emotions didn't get stuck inside me, and I had the chance to process them. As you can see, my weight changed quite a bit in just 1 month. And I would say it was relatively easy. The only thing is, I was really attentive to my feelings and emotions. Yeah, it's not like I just drew and walked away. And of course, I was drinking water and doing some quick 5-minute exercises. And today we will start drawing neurocomposition. We will take one of your goals and work on it using a fundamental algorithm, neurocomposition, and we'll expand on this in our minds to create a kind of slide in our heads that will then be projected into our external reality. Now, if you are completely ready to start drawing, you can place a few plus signs so we can get started. Now, your task is to decide on the goal that you would like to work on. I recommend choosing more tangible goals that can happen for you as quickly as possible. The only thing I suggest is to pick a goal that you don't quite understand how to achieve right now. You want it, but you're not really sure what to do about it or how to get to that goal. Today, on an unconscious level, through neurocomposition, we will build a logical chain in our minds, because until it's organized in our heads, our brain acts like a movie projector. Our thoughts are the slides we put into our projector, and then everything gets projected onto the external movie screen of our reality. Our task today is to create that very slide that will help you reach your goal. By the way, I want to mention that I came to neurography in 2021, and I started drawing through marathons without an instructor, so to speak. I went through the marathon with Elena Pakodnaya, but then I realized that I messed up my drawing so much that I had to take the user course. I really had to, because even though I had a lot of knowledge in psychology, I completely didn't understand how neurography worked. And thanks to the user course, I actually became a neurography instructor. There, while drawing the algorithm for identifying intentions, I realized that I really want to share this knowledge with people. All right, I see your plus signs. I see that you're ready. So let's get started with the drawing. I'm switching to the sheet now. We're with you. Oh, hi, Sultai, cool. Listen, you all come from such different places, I suspect. Right now, we're going to do a little setup for your goal to activate our neural connections and shake up our neural framework. We'll do an actualization, and then I'll switch the screen. All right, please let me know if you can see well. Prepare a piece of paper, not just for drawing. You should also have a piece of paper where you can write down words. Of course, you can also write on the back of the sheet you're drawing on if you don't have another one nearby. So, please write. Are you ready for updating before we go to updating? We will now write about your goal. We write today's date. I will definitely write the date in order to clearly understand when I formed my goal. And we write the goal. Well, neurography is like that. It always leads us to places we don't expect to see. It took me somewhere I didn't expect as well. Today, I want to work on my goal. Just recently, my book was published. It's my first one, meaning I reissued it, and I want it to become a bestseller. I really want to get this book to people so they can change their lives through it. That's why I'm writing The Path of the Heart, and it's a bestseller of the heart. Each of you is writing down your own goal. We definitely need to define our goal so we can start understanding what's happening with us in relation to this goal when we do the actualization. We will do the actualization for 2 minutes. We definitely need to define our goal so that we can start understanding what's happening with us in relation to this goal when we do the actualization. We will do the actualization for 2 minutes. What do we do during the actualization? We simply write words in a flow to bring up in our minds, to reveal that neural contour that relates to our topic. When we write words, we don't think about anything, meaning you just write in a flow. Even if it seems to you that the words are not connected to the topic at all, it doesn't matter. And if you are ready to start writing words now, please put plus signs. Then I'll start the timer and we will begin drawing for the actualization. Yes, my book needs to reach the masses. It's really an inspiring story of my life. I'm not just describing my life, I'm analyzing the psychological reasons behind it. Thank you for actively writing. So, on the count of 3, we will start writing words. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Thank you. To be continued. There's 1 minute left. To be continued. To be continued. Track the sensations in your body that are coming up right now. I'm finishing the last word. So I had engaged in active reflection and some very interesting words came out. This is connected for me. It seems there was a murder, possibly reincarnations. As a writer, I felt rejected. The word victim struck me. That's my position lately. Write how it is for you. Count your words. If less than 17, add more to reveal your contour. I got 26 words. Now see your goal's image. Wow, 29 words. Great, 34. Super, 35. Magnificent. Look at your goal. Close your eyes. What does the heart's path look like? I see a book. 100,000 signed on it. 100,000 copies sold. Inside, I feel excited, expansion, and heat. Wow, reflection is happening. Why track our image? To see changes. Let's start drawing quickly to avoid brain limitations. For users, a neurographic line is a thought on paper, led to unexpected places. It shouldn't repeat at every section. Intersections create limitations. This knowledge is in the user course, very important. I got 26 words already. Now you can see what image your goal has, how you see it right now. Wow, cool. 29 words. Your contour has opened up. You have 34. Super, you guys are doing great. 35, magnificent. Make sure to look at what your goal looks like. If you close your eyes, what does the path of the heart look like? What does my goal look like if I close my eyes? Look at how it is for you. Right now. I see a book. I even see 100,000 signed right on the book. 100,000 copies sold. But inside, I feel so excited about it. Phew, I can feel a bit of expansion inside, and something's happening with my throat. I feel heat starting. Wow, cool. Reflection is happening. Why are we tracking our image? To see what changes for us in the end. And right now, I suggest we start drawing, because we don't have much time. I really love to draw quickly, because then the brain doesn't kick in and start putting up limitations. So today, we will draw as fast as possible. For those who are users, I'll say right away that a neurographic line is a thought laid out on paper, and in neurography, we lead it to places where we don't expect to see it. Now I'll show you how it can look. It shouldn't repeat itself at every section of its path. It shouldn't be the same. If you look at different sections, it shouldn't repeat itself. And one important point right away, if we have intersections like this, where one thought meets another, we have some limitations arising inside. You can gain all this knowledge in the user course, where you get the basics, and believe me, it's really important. How do we round? Our task is to bring harmony to all these inner conflicts we have. We definitely don't want to stretch the line like this to avoid those jagged edges. Let's extend it. Let it be a line of thickness so that it looks rounded and your gaze flows along the line. This is a little introduction for those who are just starting to draw, and then we will start drawing. We will draw quickly, almost like in neurosketching, because again, I'll say it's great for keeping the mind from kicking in. Cool, look how well everyone's neural contours have opened up. So what are we doing now? We're drawing a timeline from the bottom left corner to the top right. Drawing a neurographic line, marking segments as if this is a timeline where you are right now and where your goal will be. We've drawn the timeline. Think about it. Let's not think too much, just draw a circle where you feel it, marking where you are in this space of time. I ended up with a plus sign in my circle. Neurograph the circle to fit our neural contour. You're vital in life. Start rounding. I felt dizzy. This is you. Identify your future path. Feel it. I sense heat. Aiming for my goal. My book will be a bestseller. Writing it caused breathing issues. Track reflections. Write your goal and round to resolve conflicts. This, you weren't the main element in your life, and we immediately start rounding it off because, for example, I just felt a bit hot and even a little dizzy. You can write down that this is you to understand better. Right now, you have a line going into the future, and you need to figure out where you are in that future. Try to feel it. I recommend feeling it with your hand. Just really feel it. For me, I often feel either pulsations or heat, and my goal is somewhere around here. So in this time frame, my book will become a bestseller. I'll write bestseller right here. As soon as I set the goal, I started having trouble breathing. Don't forget to track your reflections, and we'll also write our goal into the neural contour and round it off right away. We round it to balance out any intersections, which represent some inner conflict, some thought that is fighting with another thought. Our task is to create a composition through rounding. This is the second point of the basic algorithm we're studying. I didn't have time to write my goal, but you can do it now. Not feeling anything. Well, that happens too. Although I doubt that's the case. Only the deceased don't feel anything. Maybe direct your attention to your body, piece by piece, and track what sensations you have there. I don't know, maybe in your shoulders. Sometimes we don't notice. Right now my nose is itching. I thought I didn't have any sensations, but my nose is itching and my forehead is itching too. I'm doing this automatically without even tracking it. So, we've written our goal down, giving it a place in time and space. Now, our task is to imagine that you've achieved your goal. What feelings and emotions will you have? I'll consider mine, and you consider yours, and we'll string these feelings like beads onto our goal. So the first one for me will be self-respect, because I actually brought this to a conclusion. I'll write that into my neural contour, neurographing this resource for me. Yes, that's self-respect. What else will I have when the bestseller comes? What feelings and emotions will you have when you reach your goal? I'll think about mine, and you think about yours, and we'll string these feelings like beads onto our goal. So, for me, the first one will be self-respect, because I actually brought this to a conclusion. I'll write that into my neural contour, neurographing. This resource for me. Yes, that's self-respect. What else will I have when the bestseller comes? I will feel a sense of calm. For some reason right now, when my book isn't out there for a lot of people, I feel uneasy. This feeling of unease is quite unsettling and persistent. And when it reaches, as planned, a large number of people, I will feel a sense of calm and relief. What else will I feel? Joy, contentment, and satisfaction, because my inner writer will be delighted that I'm finally not just writing works, but actually sharing them with people. I just felt this truly overwhelming joy, like a child's joy, so pure and innocent. And of course, I immediately round everything off to get into a state of harmony right away, because sharp corners cause inner resentment, because one thought clashes with another, one limitation with another. And we have this wonderful ability in neurography to integrate all of this right away. External resistance, like unknown people calling or checking bills. That's okay. External resistance is now acting as a test of how ready you are to pursue your goal. When you start to realize this, you need to understand what's important for you right now. Let them knock, let them call. Take care of yourself. And believe me, it will only benefit you. What else do I have? What feelings, emotions will there be? When the book becomes a bestseller, I will have some kind of feeling of accomplishment. I can just see this circle here, as if I should, but I really should have written this book. I had an event in which I almost died, and one of the conditions for me to return to life was to write this book, although I did not plan to do this from the word absolutely. Phew. It's kind of like that, and right now, if I track my reflections, my image of the goal has changed. At first it was just a book, but now it feels like it's in space, orbiting different planets. So my book will help bring people together into a community, like one planet. As for external resistance, it's okay to use a black pen for drawing, but if you're not a specialist, then it's better to use a marker or a regular pen. Even as an instructor, I don't always risk drawing with a pen because you can't achieve maximum rounding with a pen, you know? To bring our feelings and emotions into harmony, that's why we don't recommend drawing with a pen, after all. So, we've created a composition together. There's you, there's your goal, and you're basically in the same time space. But right now, our task is to connect yourself with that goal. You might not understand what you need to do, or maybe you do. For example, I understand what steps and actions I need, and I'm going to outline them for myself with some rectangles, so they represent stable actions. The first thing is that I need to talk a little bit more about my book. That is, do various different activities and tasks, post excerpts on my social networks. The next thing I need to do is place an order for advertising, and perhaps from some bloggers and promotional materials. And there's one action that I'll leave to my subconscious. I don't know what it is yet, but I want to include it. If you're unsure, you can come here and bring in some resources that you think might help you. Maybe by the end of the visualization, you'll realize what it is. And of course, we're incorporating all these actions into the neural pathway so that you definitely take them in due time. Because one of the important elements is not just to visualize, but to immediately understand how you're going to act after the visualization, what you need to do to reach your goal. This is also one of the keys to success in achieving your goal, because thinking about your goal while lying on the couch definitely won't get you there. So we need to think about what actions you can take right after visualizing. As soon as you finish visualizing, you must do at least one small action today, something minor, but something you can definitely do. In my case, for example, I can do it and let them all come together. It's not a problem. If your circles overlap, it means you already have some connection in your neural pathway related to your goal, and that's good. The only thing that's really important is to round off all the corners so that there are no conflicts between these resources. This is also one of the keys to success in achieving your goal. Because thinking about your goal while lying on the couch definitely won't get you there. We need to think about what actions you can take right after visualizing. As soon as you finish visualizing, you must do at least one small action today, something minor, but something you can definitely do. In my case, for example, I can do it. And let them all come together. It's not a problem. If your circles overlap, it means you already have some connection in your neural pathway related to your goal, and that's good. The only thing that's really important is to round off all the corners so that there are no conflicts between these resources. And let's think of one specific action we can take right now. I'll represent it with a kind of circle. The action you can take today is like a starting point in your mind. It will see that your chain of actions is starting to unfold, and it will begin to act in that direction. It will start sending the necessary signals. So, I'm going to do this today. The first action I mentioned is that I will post a link to my book on social media today. This will serve as the first trigger for moving towards my goal. Now that you have your goal, and the action you can take, I suggest you create a connection between yourself and your goal. This means establishing a new neural connection, not the one we usually think of as our timeline, but a new neural connection that will definitely lead you to your goal. Even if you forget something along the way, this new neural connection will still guide you to your goal, and of course will immediately round everything off and integrate it all together. So, it turns out that at first, this was a goal completely separate from us, but now it's already connected to us. And to make sure your goal really motivates you, I suggest you define a big goal for the distant future that will draw you in. Something bigger than your goal. For me, it's about making the world a happier place, because I want to live in a happy society. A happy person always shares their happiness, and I want this goal to draw me in, and I mark it the same way and write it into my neural framework using a neurological line. So this is a goal that will be right here. I might go somewhere or not go somewhere. I might want to do something or not want to do something, but this big goal will really motivate me a lot. So we have put together a composition and determined the actions that you will perform. By the way, write down what actions you will take today to kickstart your goal. And now that the composition is set, naturally, your goal can connect with other people. It's important to have some kind of connection with these people so they can help you. As I mentioned, you'll be building interactions with people in the background. And right now, through this line, you can include the actions you'll take together with others to achieve your goal. In my case, it's for people to talk about my book on their pages. This is my fantasy. It is not a reality yet, but I am already laying down this interaction. Next, what other actions can we take? Advertising with bloggers will attract new people who will also buy this book. And I want people to share it. Like when friends chat in the kitchen and say, I read this book and it inspired me so much. I learned so much about myself. I cried because I have so much in common with this girl. You can also create some lines of connection. I don't fully realize what this will be, but it will be some kind of interaction with people. And right away, I round it off to adjust the business plan. Great job, everyone. It's really important to do this today. Trust me, this is an activator. It's like, to turn on the light, you have to press the switch. Here, it works like that switch that starts the chain reaction. The current begins to flow through the wires, and it leads to turning on the light for you. That's how activating your goal works. And now I realize some actions, while others I don't quite understand. But I continue to connect my goal so that my goal does not fall out of the general background. Because I have one goal, you have another goal, someone else has some other goal. And so that my goals do not fight with yours and yours, the other people, we fill the background with neural lines for this. So we are building new neural connections with people so that sometimes you want to draw but get interrupted. My face itches, especially around my mouth. I've scratched it. It's a reflex. I'm chatting and my body says, pay attention to me. Now I'm interested, though there were doubts about the book becoming a bestseller. But now, after discussing the values people and I will gain, I realize I want to share this book as it inspired over 1,000 people. I wrote it in 2017, received a medal, and many found it inspiring. I want the world inspired to change. The neural lines with the background, we don't make it overwhelming so your goal isn't lost. Be mindful so your goal doesn't fade. But now, after talking about all these values that people will gain and what I will gain, I realize that yes, I want to share this book with people because it has already inspired over 1,000 individuals. I wrote it back in 2017, received a medal for it, and many have read it and found it very inspiring. So I want the whole world to be inspired to make changes. Look, the neural lines with the background. We don't make the background too overwhelming so that your goal doesn't get lost. So be mindful so your goal doesn't just fade away. Now, I'll add a few more lines. I feel like I want to take some more subtle actions. Now, I'll just add a few more lines. I wanted to take some more subtle actions. Try to, also to not just send lines from yourself to people, but also try to let the line come from people to you. Observe what feels more comfortable for you in different situations and contexts. My eyes lit up, as if someone poured sand into them, and it felt like a volcano, ready to erupt with intense heat and pressure building up inside. I got this vivid image, and I thank you sincerely for being here. Without your presence and support, there wouldn't be this session. Let me drink some water to refresh myself and continue with clarity. So, I have enough lines now. I'm ready to bring in color and vibrancy to the artwork. We're going to add color, but of course, we won't be able to finish the whole drawing right now due to time constraints. The main thing is to let some color flow that will kickstart things and bring life to the piece. Think about what color can help you reach your goal and express your emotions. For me, it's going to be red, so I can express that inner passion, that inner fire burning within. That's why I want to launch the red color and let it flow freely across the canvas. Right now, I'm just making outlines. I'll refine the light in the styling later to enhance the details. We've created a composition and made connections as part of the basic algorithm, establishing a foundation for further development. Now, at this moment, we are going to do the process of archetyping, which is point number 4. Ooh. Wow, the red is starting to come in, and I'm feeling really hot, like it's getting intense, and my chest is really tight. It's almost unbearable. In moments like this, when the energy is overwhelming, it's really important to distribute it. It calms you down. Well, that's great. You know better what color you need. Remember that we bring in color so that with one color you have at least 2 elements of mental energy. So you can't just have one little spot. There should be at least 2 with one color. Always keep that in mind, especially for those who are drawing for the first time. Observe how things change when you add color. I can literally see how a volcano erupted. I feel such joy that tears are welling up. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. As a child, my mom always convinced me that when I said I wanted to be a writer, she would say that no one would read books by a girl from a poor family, that no one cared about my scribbles. And I've had this strange feeling my whole life that I'm some kind of unfinished writer or something like that. And now it feels like this volcano has exploded, like this magma has started flowing here. Oh, by the way, girls, when you finish drawing, the moderator just sent you chats in VKontakte and Telegram. Please send me your drawings. I will supervise them, point them out to you, give you some recommendations that will help you reach your goal faster. Not that it will be faster, but that you will come to it at all, because sometimes an unfinished drawing leads to an unfinished goal. So join the chat actively, post your drawings there, share what you've been working on in your social media, and talk about this wonderful opportunity to come to the conference, draw, and experience this aesthetic pleasure. Well, it's not always just pleasure. Different feelings can come up. But no matter what feelings arise, make sure to finish your drawing, even if you don't like it. For that, stylize it and bring everything to a logical conclusion. So I added red, and now I really want blue, like a river, to balance things out. Because sometimes I get burned out, so I'll add blue to let the fire, so to speak, flow with the water, and to help tone down that fiery passion so I don't burn out. And I want to make sure that the people who are moving towards my book don't burn out either, so that their interest and passion for reading it and talking about it remains calm, helping them reach their goals without any emotional ups and downs. I love to bring in light in a flow, thinking less about how my hand moves, how it helped people reach their objectives, and to do it in a consistent manner without any emotional ups and downs. I love to bring in light in a flow, thinking less about how my hand moves. I really and truly like to work with color, because color is vital energy, and I want that energy to flow at the exact pace it wants to, without me stopping it with my thoughts. For me personally, thoughts are kind of a drag, almost like a death sentence, because I have too many limitations in my head that prevent me from letting them develop fully. I always let color flow freely, so that this vibrant energy moves as naturally as I feel it. That will be enough for me. I'll refine it later. In the 7th point, I will be doing the styling. At this moment, I am seeking to draw in and engage with higher powers and energies to become involved in this particular work. The purpose of this is to gain their assistance and support in helping me to fully realize and bring to fruition my specific intention and goal. Perhaps somewhere in some situations I don't know how to act. I don't know how to effectively convey to people, but the higher powers have all this knowledge. I trust them with this too, without any hesitation or doubt. Right now, it's absolutely great to work with a clear and defined objective. I'll tell you, sometimes it's definitely better to spend a couple of hours setting a clear and concise objective through drawing than to go through a ton of worries later when you're already on your way to that objective. Because when everything is set, you can move towards your objective peacefully. You won't be all over the place. Because you have a structured neural pathway. You'll be doing things smoothly. And you know what? You'll also get confirmations that you're on the right pathway because you've laid out your actions. You'll see, like, Oh, today I posted something, and in my mind I'm thinking, that was the first step, and tomorrow I'll reach out to a blogger who will promote my stuff. Each time it'll be a confirmation that your objective is really going to happen. Your brain will see that you're taking action, and that will work in your favor. So it's really important to work with objectives. You can go for training to learn how to draw neurocomposition at an institute, and you can work on this multiple times with different objectives. Trust me, it's absolutely worth every single effort and moment. I absolutely love neurocomposition. It's one of my favorite techniques. As soon as I trained to be an instructor, I fell in love with it because I use it for multitasking. I have a lot of tasks, and I always want them to flow in a unified rhythm. So, for now, I'm good with this. I might refine some lines or colors later. I have this feeling of doubt, but I've really become calm about it. I understand that everything is possible. I just need to refine some things and take some actions. I also love to smudge like this. It creates a nice haze, but it doesn't always work out. It really depends on the pencils you're using, but I love that haze. And now I'm calling on the higher powers in my work. You can follow the same lines that you already have, or you can create your own. What is a field line? A field line is certainly the energy of higher powers that is absolutely attracted to your goal to guide you, possibly not in the way you planned. Some people call it an extraordinary event, but I prefer to call it a structured goal. Sometimes you might not take certain actions and someone else will do it for you. That's also a higher power working through someone else with you. I definitely want to attract the energy of higher powers because there are moments that are still a bit challenging for me. I understand that I won't have to work on this for too long. Now pay attention. The energy of higher powers shouldn't just be imposed randomly. It needs to be integrated. If there are intersections, it also needs to be connected, rounded, and integrated with all your thoughts. Because you have your thoughts and there's some energy from higher powers, and to ensure that this energy flows in your life. It also needs to be woven in and integrated with your thoughts to avoid any internal discord. I'll be honest, I only started loving to draw field lines not too long ago. When I was taking the user course, I hated them. I thought they ruined my drawings. But when I saw the effect of field lines in my life and how wonderful events started happening, I fell in love with them. I even got a bit emotional when those memories came up. And now, you can see how much your image of the goal has changed. Right now, this is what I have. It's like a ship that people are boarding via a gangway, It's like there's some kind of book, like a quiet harbor for a wandering poet, where people come to relax or to set off on a journey. Everyone has their own take on it. For some, it's a wire ship, but for me, it's a book that helps me embark on a journey deep within myself. Here, so I made the field line. And of course, the fixation figure. Yeah, absolutely awesome. You truly attract, well done. You guys are amazing, really. With the fixation figure, you're doing something for yourself. The reason we create fixation is to capture this entire stream of thoughts we've just generated, to fixate on some element of our psyche that will guide us in focusing on our goal. I'm going to fixate on this circle of my distant, deep goal so that my book leads people to happiness. For anyone to be happy, it's important to explore their inner world. And my book really helps with that because it has a lot of emotions. It has a healing effect because it was written in a serious flow and evokes a storm of emotions in people. And it's this storm that helps a person release accumulated feelings and emotions. Wow, I just got really emotional. My nose is running now. It's like a fire-breathing dragon. I feel like I'm burning inside, like I'm breathing fire. Now look, there's an important point I want to show you for those who are just starting out. See, my element of psyche has split. The little red one, you see? It ended up alone, and that's not good. So I'm going to add another red one next to it so that this element of psyche isn't lonely, because for me that's really tied to feelings of loneliness. To prevent that, I'm going to add another element of the same color to create a flow, so it doesn't feel like a release of energy. See? Right away it feels better. I'm drawing exactly what I want to manifest in my artwork, so maybe that's why it feels so good. And we won't be doing the actualization part anymore. Let's just take a moment to imagine, because we have about 7 minutes left. Let's just imagine right now what your goal looks like. And take a look at what has changed for you regarding your goal now. I'm going to turn back to you now. Let's gather a bit of information. Finish up your drawing and send it in the chats. I will definitely supervise. The key word seems to be fixation. In fact, the fixation figure helps to stop and concentrate our attention. If there's no fixation, it's like a river flowing. It just keeps going. That's the flow. And in order to stop and focus your attention on a certain spot, you need to hold that attention. In the flow, you won't really grasp that place. So you need to either set a buoy, to mark it, so you understand, here, I want to keep my attention. Yes, that's just ordinary resistance. Absolutely right, Irina. Great job. I'm going to turn back to you now. I really appreciate your activity, for the fact that for diving into your drawing so well, for following your goals. You wouldn't believe how important that is. Every one of your goals matters, not just to you, but to the community you're part of. Although sometimes we think otherwise, never believe anyone, just follow your own goals. Thank you to everyone who came. Thank you for your active messages.